Hello and welcome to Initiating Insight with Sibongile. We continue on a communications journey with this Department of Social Development so as to have them educate us and make us understand their systems and processes in as far as the services they render to millions of South Africans. Today we are joined by Mr. Ngomane, who will be talking to us about the programs for men and boys. Mr. Ngomane, welcome to the show. Tell us what it is that you do at the department.
Good day to you, Sibongile, and to the listeners at home.
Sir.
I am the Chief Director responsible for stakeholder management in the department and research. But part of my portfolio has got to do with Boys and Men program. It's a program that ensures we are also focusing on empowering the boy child and also empowering men to deal with issues of gender-based violence in the province. Because what we have realized as a department is that as much as we want to ensure that there is harmony between men and women in the society, we need to have men as key role players in the fight against gender-based violence. But be it as it may, we said boys need to be trained or informed whilst they are young on issues of gender-based violence, but also on issues of good citizenships and also on good values. So our program basically looks into that.
Okay, it is encouraging to learn about programs. I know, Guti, boys and men programs, should I say male programs, are not necessarily popular as women.
Yes.
You know, you find there's a girl child, take a girl to work, this and that about women, and it's not so much about men. And so it's encouraging and refreshing to hear that there are programs like that. And any successes?
We've got quite a few successes, but I must say the struggle is still going on, so it's not easy to register many gains or victories.
Sure.
But what I can say is that at least the society sees a need now to have this program. We go around the province establishing men's forums. We've got quite a few here in Soweto. We also have got two success stories. One, it's where men volunteered to adopt vulnerable gogos. Because there was also a time in Gauteng where there was an increase in the violation of older persons' rights, where we saw.
And when we say, sorry, Mr. Ngomane, when we say gogos, we mean nabomkhulu as well, or we just
nabomkhulu,
talking?
Yes.
Okay.
But the majority, for certain reason, it's gogos.
Okay.
Because you know that the population of South Africa, we've got more women than men. So because of the abuse that we experience as Gauteng around older people, we had men coming together, forming what was called Adopt a Gogo program, where they were adopting older women and older men who were at risk of being abused. That is one success. We've got more than 100 volunteers, and we've got more than 1,000 older people who are adopted in that program.
Wow.
Because one adopter adopts more than 10 gogos.
Oh, okay.
So we've got almost, in fact, more than 1,000 gogos in that program who are adopted. That's one success story out of this program. But another success story, it is the establishment of South African Men of the Year Awards, where the department with its NGO partners decided to develop a program of recognizing positive male role models. Because when we engage with other young men to say why are they deviating from a good norms or good values in the society, they will say we don't have role models. We don't know what is right, basically. We do what we see other people doing, you see.
So they do have role models, it's just not the correct role models.
It's just not the correct, you are correct. It's just not the right male role models.
Absolutely.
So through Men's Awards, we are profiling those positive male role models. We've got a category of legends, people like Dr. Richard Maponya, Bruce Fordyce, Babu Andrew Mlangeni, and even the late Ahmed Katraida. Those are people we are profiling as our positive male role models in South Africa.
I don't mean to brag, but he's my grandfather.
Who's your grandfather?
Andrew Mlangeni.
Oh, that's good.
I just thought I should just throw that in.
I thought maybe it's Bruce Fordyce. Yeah, no, that's good. He's a respectable man, and his role really is commendable in nation building. So that is why we have recognized him as one of our role models, so that then every young man who does not have a positive role model can learn more about these characters, about these people, and find a way of him emulating them.
Okay.
So that's why now we are in the program of saying we've got these 2 success stories, but now let us focus on accelerating and intensifying the boy-child program.
Okay. What I want to ask you, we're going to go on a break right now, but before we do that, when we come back, I want to ask about when you started these programs, at least the timeline, so that we can be fair in actually judging the successes or the failures thereof. We need to take a break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Initiating Insight with Sibongile. If you've just joined us, we are sitting with Mr. Bongani Ngomane from the Department of Social Development, and we are talking about the programs for men and boys. And before we went on a break, we were talking about the successes of these programs, and we asked a question about when these programs actually started. So as to be fair in judging the successes or the failures thereof. So when did this particular program begin?
We started in 2012 as Department of Social Development. So I think it's about 6 years now. So that's what I'm saying. It's not really easy to register tangible progress because, but be it as it may, we've got many programs. We've got few success stories. We've got few.
Tell us about these programs.
Yes.
Do they have names? Where do you have these programs? Where do you host rather?
Workshops, you know. For an example, once a week we try very hard to go to one rehab center where you'll find young men who are trying to change their lives, maybe from substance abuse, be it drugs or alcohol. So we go there as Men's Forum, we go there as Department of
Randomly
Social.
or by invitation?
We invite ourselves.
Okay, all right.
Because as a department, we run these rehab centers. You know, we've got a substance abuse directorate in the department. So we just check which rehabilitation center we can go to. Then we engage with these men because most of them who are there, they are ones who want to change their lives. So we give them direction, we give them support and encouragement. That is one of our substance abuse program focusing on empowering men. Yes, then so those are our workshops. Then we've got other programs which we call spiritual upliftment programs. Because again, our view is that every human being is 3 in 1. It's mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely.
So as government, we have realized that we can't only focus on mind and body and say, no, the spiritual part has got nothing to deal with government because we are a secular state. So we have decided to enter that space. So we've got a program called What is Man? So through that, a man is able to define himself, but in a spiritual way. So again, we meet once a month with men. Normally we meet at Rivonia, Rivonia Community Hall once a month.
Why Rivonia? Why not Joburg CBD? Because if you go to Rivonia, you're excluding
Rivonia
me.
It's part of Gauteng, Rivonia. That's the problem, that if you are government, you must try to reach everyone.
Yes.
So that government is not seen as government of the rich or the poor.
Yes.
But it's government of everyone.
Absolutely.
But
My
here
point exactly.
in Soweto, there is also a men's program which meets every Saturday here at Funda Center. It's called Men in Prayer. They are our partners. It's run by Mr. George Ngwenya.
Okay.
So every Saturday they are here at Funda Center. Men of Soweto gather there and they discuss whatever it's necessary to be met. We also have partnered with Save the Boy Child, NGO here in Soweto. It's at, I think it's Piri. So through Save the Boy Child, we go to different schools and ensure that the boy child gets to be mentored, gets to be exposed to correct and positive information. So those are a few programs that we are embarking on. But we said, let us take the boy child program further this time. As a result, we are calling all NGOs, private sector and government departments that have got something to do with the boy child. So that then we develop one comprehensive universal program for boy child. So that if there is a program that takes place, for example, in Kalinen and in Brakpan and Sibukeng around boy child, all of those programs should have the same outcomes.
Same agenda, yeah.
Because now we want to start from creches or early childhood development centers to target boys till to university
You want
level.
to nip it in the bud.
Yes, so that they grow up with that program in their mind, with that positive information. Because we lose them young, then we try to assist them when they are teenagers. It's a bit difficult.
Foundation is critical.
Yes, true.
Yeah. So who are you partnering with in these programs? You mentioned
Save the Boy Child Foundation.
Yes.
It's Save the Boy Child Foundation. It's Love Life.
Okay.
It's other sister department in the social cluster. Then, of course, we will involve SAPS. But there are many other NGOs, like there is one called Boys to Men. It's an NGO. They are also coming on board. Also, at a national level, there is a program under SANEC called Takwane Rieme.
Okay.
They are also going to be part of the program. So we've got many role players in the NPO sector. Our biggest problem is the private sector. We need private sector to come and inject monies in this program.
Ah, okay.
So as we stand now, we don't have that private sector partner. But South African Film Commission has also come on board. They are also going to be our partner for the first time in the summit, which we are really happy about, because then that will inform what goes into the films, what goes into the entertainment sector, what goes into the movies in respect of building the boy child. So we really are happy about them coming on board because they are a critical and strategic partner.
Okay, hold it right there. We need to take a break. We'll be right back. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Initiating Insight with Sibongile. We are talking about the programs for men and boys, and we are still joined by Mr. Ngomane. Before we went on a break, I was telling Dabizinya about filming, Daguti, you know, they are partnering with the Film Commission. So we must be happy about that, because you told us, Uguti, it informs what goes into the films?
Yes.
Meaning what exactly?
You know, our concern as government, it's violence in our mass media. And the language that is used sometimes, it does not build the young boy. Because if you look into most popular films, there is an element of violence, there's an element of sometimes rudeness or loose talk. And if a young person grows up exposed to such programs, it it shapes his character to a certain direction. So that's why we're saying with the Film Commission coming on board, I'm sure this concern will be finally addressed, because we have been raising the concern as government, and even activists in this sector, they have been raising the concern. So we are happy that they are coming on board. They will hear what are the real concerns, and I'm sure they will find a way of addressing it. But be it as it may, we also hope through them coming on board, we will get maximum exposure in the sector in respect of mass media, and be able to attract private sector, because we like private sector to play a role. Because, most social ills taking part in the country are directly or indirectly perpetrated by men. And if private sector does not show interest in the men's sector, then it will be difficult for them not to become victims of those social ills. But if they sponsor the sector grows, the sector has got maximum impact in terms of positive outcomes, then it means social ills will go down. Then business can thrive in the country. So that's why we are saying we are calling on private sector to come on board. If they are interested to be part of the Boys Sector Summit, they can contact our office, get information, and be registered as delegates.
You know, when you speak about the Film Commission having to influence, I mean, I suppose we are really, generally as human beings, we are influenced by what we see, what fundamentally, by what we see, what we experience. So I understand what you're saying about the coming and the contribution of what the Commission would do, the Film Commission will do towards the, considering that, young men have complained, like you said in the beginning of this program, that, they don't have role models and stuff like that. And if I can just throw it into a little bit, Mr. Ngubane, private sector is, maybe we should change the wording name. Maybe because they are private, they want to stay private.
What should we call them? Economic sector?
Yes.
Or
don't you think?
Either way, business sector.
I was just thinking,
yes.
Perhaps business sector.
Yes.
Private, maybe they want to stay private. But that's just me, Sibongile, and my loose brain. But, yeah.
Yeah, maybe let's call them business sector, because really they are very key in the country. They are very key in ensuring that the country moves forward. So it will be good for them to sponsor and actively participate in programs that talks to boys and men development in the country.
I suppose, again, your success will come in you combining all these elements and sectors that you've mentioned, because, like you said, the partners that you are trying to forge, or rather the entities that you're trying to forge partnership with, they run these programs, but you're running the same thing. So why not come together so that you become even more effective, right?
Because, the sector is very new. I said we started in 2012 as a department. But I know there were other initiatives around 2008, 2006. But it's a new sector that has got less than 20 years in existence. So there's a lot that needs to be done. Even the academic sector, they need to write articles, they need to write books about men and boys sector, so that research is done and it's conducted. But as a department, we are conducting a research this year on the extent of men abuse in the society. Because as much as we talk about women abuse, there are elements of men who are really being abused.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
By families, by spouse. So we said we also need to zoom into that. And men are even afraid of reporting these cases because of the negative feedback they get when they report these cases. Our society is still patriarchal, so they expect a man to be, what will I say?
A man to be a man, and boys don't cry.
Yes. If you
Where
go to
will
a
people
police
find you,
station,
Mr. Ngubane, because of time?
Our landline is 011-355-7969. It's Department of Social Development in Gauteng. But if they can go to any nearest social development offices or social workers offices, they will also get information about Men and Boys program.
Thank you so much for having joined us.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. That's all we had for today, and if I must say, it is really encouraging to have programs like this, because it doesn't help to develop women alone, and you develop them for men who are not developed. And it's also, for us as women, we need to also acknowledge that men are also human beings. I love men as much as I love women, because they are human beings and one cannot exist without the other. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been created to coexist. That's all from me, Initiating Insight with Sibongile. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, Sibongile Mlangeni, Initiating Insight. Until next time, take care.